What is going on, YouTube? So it's been a heavy day of news and rumors today in professional sports, especially ones that I talk about a lot. So I wanted to get onto a subject that I haven't really talked about too much over this offseason, and I feel like I should have, and that is Nerlens Noel and Jahlil Okafor. So they've both been shopped extremely heavily by the Sixers, and there was news coming out today that the Celtics are still the most likely suitor for Jahlil Okafor, and that they are still one of the biggest suitors for Nerlens Noel. As most of you are aware, I'm sure that all of you know that the Sixers have been heavily shopping both of them. So I've got in my opinion, the three biggest suitors, or the three best, most likely landing spots for each guy. And we're going to start with Jahlil Okafor, and start with the team that I just mentioned, and that is the Boston Celtics. So there's no doubt in my mind that whoever the Celtics give up for Jahlil Okafor, if they do trade, has something to do with their plethora of draft picks and or Avery Bradley and Terry Rozier. Maybe Marcus Smart, but I think if it is Marcus Smart, then it might just be a straight-up trade Marcus Smart for Jahlil Okafor. It might involve some other smaller pieces, but I think that would be the main framework of that trade. So the next one is the New York Knicks, and I take this rumor down a little bit. It was a heavier one at the beginning of the offseason, at least from what I heard. And ever since they signed Joakim Noah, and they already have Kristaps Porzingis, I don't think they have a huge need for a starting center right now, just because of the amount of money they gave up for Joakim Noah. You know, they're pretty much, at least in my mind, they're pretty much set at the power forward and center positions right now. You know, I believe they got Mason Plumlee backing up Kristaps Porzingis, and then already got Kyle O'Quinn backing up Joakim Noah. So, like I said, I think they're pretty much set, or not Mason Plumlee, Marshall Plumlee. And we'll see what happens there. He was an undrafted player. So, anyway, he's a Plumlee. I have a little bit of faith in him, and then even Carmelo Anthony can slide up to the power forward spot if they decide to go with a smaller lineup. If they do trade, I'll be honest, I don't really know what the Knicks would throw in at this point, just because I feel like their team is pretty much ready to go. But again, it's just one to watch out for. It's the Knicks. They might still make a big splash. And then the last one is the Chicago Bulls. So the Bulls are a team that I still think has a lot of room left to make a move. Their front court is still something that I think needs a little bit of work. Bobby Portis showed up in a big way in the Summer League, which I think gives them a lot of hope. But again, Taj Gibson, I'd say, is a name to watch out for. I think the Bulls are still shopping him. Jimmy Butler, maybe, but it sounds like the Bulls pretty much took him off the trade market. And then Robin Lopez, I wouldn't put it past the Bulls to maybe get rid of Nikola Mirotic or Robin Lopez before the offseason ends. I do think Jahlil Okafor is a better option than anything they have in their front court right now. I don't think they have a terrible front court, but it's also not great. So, move on to my three options for Nerlens Noel. And the first one is still the Boston Celtics. So the Celtics are a team right now that I believe they're starting Amir Johnson at the 4, who, it's not the worst option in the world. It could be worse. But at the same time, let's consider the possibility Nerlens Noel versus Amir Johnson. Noel's just a much better player. Again, if we talk about the framework of a trade, it would probably involve some players in the back court, some combination of Marcus Smart, Terry Rozier, maybe Avery Bradley, just something to keep in mind. So, next one, a team that's recently shown a little bit of interest in Nerlens, and that is the Toronto Raptors. So, the Raptors, again, another team that could use a little bit of help at the 4. I've mentioned this a few times. While I think they needed a little bit of help at the stretch 4 position, it is intriguing to add a good player like Noel that can play at the 4 or the 5. They can play down low in the paint. And, you're talking about a team right now that's still starting Patrick Patterson at the 4. They can start Jared Sullinger at the 4. Or, I don't think they will really do this, but Jakob Poeltl maybe I just don't see a lineup that has Jakob Poeltl and Jonas Valanciunas in it. Anyway, if you're talking about, I think Sullinger would be the starting 4 right now. That's just the way it feels like in my mind. If you're a Raptors fan, then let me know what you think it's going to be. But again, the trade that would probably go down here in my mind would involve Terrence Ross, maybe DeMarre Carroll, probably not, because they just signed him. I think they're going to try to give him at least a few more years. I haven't really heard too many trade rumors involving DeMarre Carroll, but I'm assuming it would involve something with Terrence Ross and maybe a draft pick. Something to keep in mind, maybe Patrick Patterson. All right, so the last one, the Houston Rockets. So, again, another team that will, in my mind, be competing this year, that will need a little bit of help at the 4. You know, this is a Rockets team that's going to look different from last year. Obviously, losing Dwight Howard. You know, they do have Ryan Anderson starting at the 4 this year, which I think is a decent option, but they definitely need some help in the front court depth-wise. There's no doubt about that in my mind. They did just sign Chinanu Onuaku, I believe that's how you say it, the center out of Louisville. They do have Zhou Qi, who they did sign this offseason, or they did draft, and I do like both options. But, again, this is a team right now that in the front court really has Ryan Anderson and Clint Capella, and that's it. I think adding a guy like Nerlens Noel would tremendously help out that front court. It'd be an interesting combination to see what happens with James Harden and Nerlens Noel. Very, very different combination than obviously Harden and Howard. But anyway, that's just the framework of some deals. That's the best landing spots for me for these 2 players. Like I said, I wanted to talk about the situation a little bit if you're a little bit unaware of it, or if you were looking more into it. I hope this video helped you out, or at least got you thinking about some intriguing landing spots or where they might end up. But anyway, that's pretty much it. See ya.